She knows that the dangers will always rise. She knows that the court will keep her alive. But she cannot live with the weight of her fear. And she cannot stay with the dangers drawn near. She must leave. The court draws opposition just by being there. And little cat has food that the court can't repair. The threat arose and was gone just as fast. Liberty was firm and the danger had passed. Where there is a court, there will always be threat. And fear that his knowledge does not forget. The threat of recurring, the pattern is clear. But the fact of the struggle is the source of her fear. The danger was met when the danger arose. The fear that his knowledge knows what it knows. She must leave. She Must Leave arrives as the penultimate song of the saga's second volume, and its most diagnostically precise moment. Every preceding song has demonstrated what the court can do: travel with intention, evaluate with discernment, deploy force proportionally, restore stillness after violence, hold space without demand. This song does not question any of that, it audits it. The lyric does not begin with crisis, it begins with knowledge. She knows that the dangers will always arrive. She knows that the court will keep her alive. The acknowledgement is complete before the first chorus. Little Cat does not doubt the court's competence. She does not doubt its intention. She reads the architecture accurately and draws a conclusion the court cannot argue with. That reading is the song's structural weight. Earlier songs established that Little Cat's fear is not pathology, it is knowledge. What survival has required leaves an imprint that does not respond to counter-argument. In Nothing is Required, the court demonstrated its highest form of governance, holding space without agenda, making no demand. Here, the same capacity is required in a harder form. The court must hold space for a departure it cannot prevent and should not contest. The chorus is spare. She must leave. The must is not command, it is recognition. The court does not issue the order, it receives the conclusion. The lyric that follows clarifies the logic. The court draws opposition just by being there. This is not a failure of the court's design. It is an honest description of what governing institutions are. The Mouseroom Zombie Massacre ended a siege. The space blob was removed with a single shot. Both defenses were swift and complete. The pattern holds, and the pattern itself is what Little Cat cannot live inside. Where there is a court, there will always be threat. Fear that is knowledge does not forget. The second verse names this explicitly. Lily stood firm, and the danger had passed. The affirmation is genuine. The warrior's capability is not in question. But capability and safety are not the same thing. Little Cat requires not a better defense, but a place that does not draw opposition in the first place. The court's architecture cannot provide that. A vessel outside governance entirely is the only answer. The third verse tightens the logic further. The threats are recurring. The pattern is clear. It is not the threat itself that breaks her. It is the structural certainty that threat will recur wherever a court exists. Fear that is knowledge knows what it knows. The song does not invite the court to argue otherwise. It does not invite Little Cat to try harder. It witnesses her conclusion without contest. Within Volume 2's arc, this placement is deliberate. Little Cat's range widened across the second half of the album. In Nothing Is Required, she rested nearby without being pressed. In The Fish Planet again, she chose to participate voluntarily for the first time. In Return from the Fish Planet, she witnessed protection enacted without chaos. The infrastructure proved itself at each turn. Her range widened because the court held well, and yet her fear as knowledge continued to accumulate information from each demonstration. Every defended threat confirmed the pattern. The court proves itself. The pattern proves itself equally. The saga's tonal restraint is the commentary. No melodrama, no climactic confrontation, no plea for her to stay. The lyric simply follows the logic to its conclusion and names it. The saga has argued throughout that governance includes the refusal to press forward when pressing would injure. Here that principle arrives at its most demanding application. The court does not press, it acknowledges. She must leave, not because the court has failed, not because she has failed, because the court, functioning exactly as it should, cannot be what she needs. That is the honest reckoning the song offers. The saga honors it without argument, without redemption arc, and without grief performed as spectacle. Fear that is knowledge knows what it knows. The court knows it too.